Golda Meir is best known for being Israel's first and to date only female prime minister. Meir, just like any national leader, had a long history of service to her country and a significant number of accomplishments both before and during her term as prime minister. Golda Meir was born in Kiev, and at the age of 7, her family came to the United States, and they settled in Milwaukee, where Golda would attend school. After spending a year with her sister in Denver, Golda returned to Milwaukee, eventually attending Milwaukee Normal School for Teachers, now known as University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. As a teen, she became involved with the local branch of Po'alei Zion, the Workers of Zion, and then moved to Israel with her new husband, Morris Meyerson, in 1921, joining Kibbutz Merchavia, which is located just outside the modern city of Afula in Israel's north. As many others did upon making Aliyah, including David Green, who became David Ben-Gurion, Golda and Morris changed their name from the Yiddish Meyerson to the Hebrew Meir. Golda Meir became involved in political and worker organizations in pre-state Israel, and eventually returned to the United States for 2 years as an emissary for Na'amat, the pioneer women's organization. Upon her return to the land in 1934, Meir continued to expand her political activity, becoming acting head of the political department of the Jewish Agency in 1946, following the arrest of Moshe Sharet by the British, and then remained in that role when Sharet was released and sent to New York to lead the push for the partition plan in the United Nations. Meir returned to the U.S. in January of 1948, using her mostly native English language abilities to travel the Midwest for the purpose of raising funds for the coming Israeli state. With a modest goal of raising $7 to $8 million, she returned to Israel in March with $30 million donated by Jews across the country. In May of 1948, in an attempt to stave off the coming invasion, Meir secretly met with King Abdullah of Jordan to try to come to an agreement. But the king's best offer was to have Jewish autonomous settlements within an expanded kingdom of Jordan, which Meir rejected. Following the declaration of the State of Israel, which she signed, Meir was the first Israeli representative to Moscow and even attended High Holy Day services at the Great Synagogue of Moscow. She would move on to serve as Minister of Foreign Affairs and eventually brought together several parties to form a unified Labor Party in 1968. Following the death of Levi Eshkol and a subsequent election, Meir was elected Prime Minister of Israel, forming a national unity government. During her tenure, Meir would meet with President Nixon and attempt to reach a peace settlement with Egypt. Some objected to the idea, and others saw it as a missed opportunity. Furthermore, despite the Soviet Union having broken off official relations with Israel previously, she worked to alleviate the plight of Jews in the Soviet Union. And additionally, she gave orders to Mossad to hunt down the terrorists responsible for the 1972 Munich Olympics massacre. The Yom Kippur War of 1973 took Israel by surprise, and despite an ultimate victory, the initial attack was a significant setback. Most of the blame went to military leaders, and Meir was re-elected as prime minister on the final day of 1973. She could not avoid all recriminations and resigned the office on April 11, 1974, and her Knesset seat that June. The following year, she was awarded the Israel Prize for Special Service to the state. She did get to see her earlier efforts with Egypt and Sadat pay dividends as interim agreements that were signed in 1974, and she was present for Sadat's historic appearance before the Knesset in 1977. Meir died on December 8, 1978, at the age of 80, survived by her children Menachem and Sarah. In her memory, both a square in New York at 39th and Broadway and the library at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, which can be seen behind me, were named for her. Golda Meir was a pioneer turned politician who gave her country all that she had to give.